All right. Well, good morning, Prudential Northwest Properties. It's really good to be with you guys again here this morning. My name is Dan Foster, and I'm a coach with Building Champions. We are a nationally recognized coaching company that's basically based right here in the Portland metropolitan area. We coach professionals at all levels, guys, in all different types of organizations. And one of our areas of expertise is in the real estate and the mortgage industries. We have the opportunity to coach sales professionals and sales managers just like you across this country. And it's an awesome opportunity to be on the phone with you guys today because, as many of you know, I used to be an agent and a manager with Prudential for almost 10 years of my life. And I've just got great memories and wonderful friendships with some of you that are on the call today. I'm seeing your names pop up, and so it's great to see you guys on the call. And just being here this morning makes me feel like I'm at home, kind of speaking with friends again. So, all right, enough of that mushy stuff, though. Today we're going to be talking about how you can position yourself for the market shift that is occurring right now in your real estate industry. And the concepts that I'm going to share with you today, guys, these aren't major magic bullets that are going to help you, close 50 transactions a month. The stuff that I'm going to share with you today, this comes from my coaching sessions that I've had with top sales professionals across the country. It's what they're experiencing and what they're doing in this market shift, what I've learned from them, just some of these best practices. It also comes from my personal experience of leading a team of professionals through 2 market shifts as a manager at Prudential. And finally, it comes from my own personal experience. I've gone through probably 3 or 4 market shifts in my own real estate experience and background, and so I want to share with you some of the things that I've learned as well. Like many of you on the call today, I've seen markets just explode and have tremendous growth and just go crazy. And we've also just seen them tank to where it's just absolutely terrible. But here's what I've learned, and I want you guys to really pay attention to this. No matter where the market is going, if you don't take the time to position yourself strategically so that you have both personal and professional effectiveness, then you're going to miss a tremendous opportunity to have a significant impact on those that you love and you serve. Your level of success, guys, is going to be limited by how well you strategically position yourself for a market shift. Like I said before, there's not a magic bullet to help you survive this. And if there was, I don't even think I'd tell it to you. And the reason why is because I don't want you to just survive. I want you to thrive in your business. You see, sometimes we can confuse lots of business and lots of transactions and lots of money with thriving. But in reality, we're just surviving a really positive market. We're just surviving an up market. If you want to be a real estate broker that thrives in this market, and not just this one, but the next one, and the one that's coming in 5 years, and the shift that's coming in 10 years and in 15 years down the road, then you need to learn how to position yourself for not only this market shift, but for all the other ones coming down the road. Now, I believe that a lot of you are watching this webinar today because you want to have a positive impact and influence on your goals and on those that you love and serve. And you've done everything that you've done with purpose over the last 8 months. So before we jump in, let's take a look at that journey that we've been on over the last 8 months to help you be more purposeful and more intentional in where you're going. You know, we started off with business planning. In October of last year, we set goals. We committed to disciplines to help you create and deepen relationships with those key referral partners that you have and your past clients. You outline specific marketing and selling strategies for your business that were going to help you. And then in April, we came back and we did a 90-day business plan checkup. And in this session, we walked you through a new tool that would help you evaluate your overall production results for the first quarter, allow you to review your business growth disciplines and how you were spending your time each week in those 4 key areas of time: growth, in, on, and off. And we identified improvements to focus on and challenges that you were going to need to overcome as this market started to shift. And this tool was just an excellent way for you to review each quarter. Today's call doesn't replace that tool. In fact, it complements it and it supplements it. And so I want you to make sure that you're accessing that tool. We've updated it, and it's going to be available for you to download after the call today on the landing page that we created for you where you registered for today's webinar and conference call. And that's just simply at buildingchampions.com/PRUNW. And I'll have that up on the screen here in just a little bit. Today, though, we're going to focus on something different. Today, we're going to focus on helping you position yourself for the market shift. And I know some of you will say, Dan, it's too late. This thing is going crazy, or it's too late. I've missed the boat. I'm up to my eyes in this shift. I can't position. I can't reposition myself. Well, that's just not true. You know, it's never too late to make changes. It's never too late to make improvements or to shift your way of thinking about your business. Regardless of where you are right now, or where you're headed, or where you've been, I want to encourage you to just pick out maybe 1 or 2 ideas from today's call. I don't want you to think that you've got to implement every single thing that I talk about today. Some of you probably already have a number of things that I'm going to talk about in place, and that's great. But what are the 1 or 2 areas that you can say, yeah, right now, that's most important. I need that in my business if I'm going to continue to provide excellent service to my clients, if I'm going to make it through this market shift. All right, so let's take a look. You know, we're talking about this market shift. Well, what's really going on in the market? I love studying the real estate market. As a manager, I loved providing my team with market stats and helping them understand kind of where the market was going. So let's take a look at just what is going on out there. And there's been a ton of reports that have come out just this week alone. And I spent about 2 hours just in preparation for this call just on these market stats to give myself a really good idea of what's going on at the national scene. And guys, I got to tell you, things are looking really good. And I love that I can say that because from 2007 through 2011, it was pretty dismal out there. There weren't too many positive conversations going on about the market, okay? But the good thing is that we've got a screen up right now that shows you in green some very positive signs that are happening out there, some very positive trends that are occurring in some key indicators. Housing starts for new construction are up this year almost 25%. You're looking for a target market to go after. New construction, builders, they're starting to get back into the game. New homes sold are up almost 20% this year. Now, existing home sales last month didn't have a great month. You probably all saw that in the reports. But this year, 4.55 up. That's good. That's good. Pending sales up. Average home price, though, we're still struggling in this area a little bit. But, guys, I got to tell you, I don't know about you, but I am really excited to see that we are out of the negative double-digit numbers of where we were before. We are down to just single digits. And, in fact, last month, the average home price in the United States actually went up a little bit over 1%. Not a lot, but we'll take it, right? If you experience what we went through, we'll take it. The median home price is doing fantastic, okay? Unemployment, still struggling there. That's still something that you've got to watch as a real estate broker. As you're going through a shift and as you're listening to economic reports and as you're looking at what's going on at the national scene, guys, the unemployment rate is big for you to watch because unemployment leads to people not having money to buy homes. Go figure, huh? And so you've got to watch that. That is going to impact your local community. It's going to impact the state of Oregon. It's going to impact things nationally on what buyers and sellers are thinking about. Well, speaking of Oregon, let's take a look at what's going on specifically in the Portland metro market. Now, guys, I know there may be some that are on the phone in Central Oregon or in Southwest Washington, and I apologize that we don't have stats for everybody that might be on the phone, but let's take a look just at the Portland metro market. I think it's a good reflection of also what might be going on in Vancouver and hopefully actually even more in Bend as well. And so new listings, they're going down, guys, which means, when we've got 3.9 months of inventory, it means that there's not a lot of selection out there for your folks, okay? And I know what that's leading to because I talked to you, a number of you, this week and in the past week about what you were experiencing in the market as I was preparing for this call. And we're talking about, as soon as a nice home comes on the market in certain price range, it's multiple offers, okay? Pending sales up 21% this year. Closed sales up almost 15%, okay, this year. Average sales price is finally going up. Median sales price is up. Total market time is down. Okay, these are all great signs, and actually in Oregon and in the Portland metro area, we're seeing the unemployment rate actually drop, which is a good sign. We're seeing people get back to work, okay? So lots of green on the screen, which is very good when we're looking at these real estate market trends. Hopefully you guys are following these. Hopefully you guys are communicating these to your clients. We're going to talk more about that today. Let's take a look at just some of the key indicators that I think are important for us to see how the market trends are really impacting you as a real estate broker. When we look at these numbers, we start to see the beginning stages, which is where I think we're at, of a serious market shift. We don't know what this market shift is totally going to look like. We don't know if it's going to be one of those things that where we've been low and all of a sudden we're just going to skyrocket up for a couple years. We may be in a market that's more like a W, okay, where we went down, now we're coming back up. We might go down again, we might come back up, okay? We don't know, but we need to be prepared for it. But right now, our current reality, this is what we're seeing. Pending sales up almost 22%. And what does that mean? It means more transactions. Increased number of transactions for each of you probably, multiple transactions going on at one time, something we haven't seen in a very long time for a lot of you. How is that going to impact your business? Increased number of closings, which means you've got more people that you're servicing, more people that you've got to stay in touch with, more people that you've got to build your brand around and provide great service to. But there's fewer homes for people to choose from. What does that mean? Well, we've already talked about it a little bit, multiple offers. You've got emotional buying decisions now with buyers, okay? You've got emotional sellers. All of a sudden they've got 2 or 3 offers on their home. They're like, what in the heck just happened here? How do we deal with this? You've got buyers saying, what do you mean there's 2 other offers on the home? I thought, why didn't you tell us that? We would have offered more. You got those types of questions possibly coming at you. You've got a mind shift going on as people start to read the news and as they start to see articles in the local papers and in the national press about what's going on, their mind shift is going to change. All of a sudden, a seller may say, you know what, we're going to hold at this price. In fact, I want to raise my list price. The market's shifting. Well, but is it in your price range, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? We need to look at that. You have a buyer that may say, you know what, I want to submit an addendum, raise our price. Submit another addendum, raise our price. Can we put an escalation clause in there? They're going to ask you those types of questions. Are you prepared for those? You see, this week alone, already the Wall Street Journal, Zillow.com, and the Portland Business Journal, they've all had articles about the positive turn in the real estate market. Some of them even went so far as to proclaim that we have hit bottom and we are going back up. Okay, a lot of people were afraid to ever predict that, guys, but we're starting to see it now. Like I said, I read it in 3 different places. They're now projecting that the Portland real estate market will probably grow somewhere between 4 and 5% from third quarter of 2012 through the end of 2013. That's nice. I like to see that, but it means that there's going to be an impact on your business. See, when a market shift occurs, you've got to be out in front. You can't risk falling behind because all of a sudden you're so busy handling all this new business. Now, those of you that have been realtors for a while, you know that crazy roller coaster ride of busy and then working on transactions and having no business and getting busy, and it's a terrible roller coaster. I'm not actually a big fan of roller coasters. I just took my daughter on her first one, and she absolutely loved it and was excited and said she wanted to go on it until she threw up when we were at Disneyland. And I was like, I was ready to throw up after about the first 2 minutes of that thing. Well, that's what real estate markets can be like for people. They can be nauseating, but you don't have to have it be that way. It all comes down to how you're going to allow this market to impact your life. So let's take a look at just how does a market impact us. Well, the first thing that a market shift usually will hit you with is an attack on your, or I guess I should say an impact on your priorities. And it can have a very significant impact on those areas of your life and your business that are most important to you. Your relationship with your spouse or your significant other, your friends, your family. And it's going to impact your focus and your time spent on those key areas of your life, like your health, your faith, your community service, your finances. And so what are you going to do? What sort of systems are you going to have in place to ensure that that impact is not so negative, so that you're not canceling vacations, so that you're not constantly eating fast food on the go, so that you're getting out to the gym to make sure that you're working out and staying healthy? Where you're going to feel the impact of a market shift first is going to be in your attitude. You see, the attitude for you is going to be impacted by all these things going on around you. And we know how attitude can impact and did impact many of our peers that went through the last market shift. Where are they now? They're gone. If you had a bad attitude, probably you're out of the business. Those folks chose not to work and stay focused. They focused on the negative if they focused on anything. They chose to complain, and to be honest, they quit before they really ever tried. You see, a positive market shift can have the same impact on your attitude if you don't have a plan in place to keep your attitude positive, to keep you focused on your priorities. The third area where a market shift can really impact you and your business is in your systems. You see, your systems for providing top-notch service are going to be tested. Your system for handling multiple transactions at one time and how you're handling all that paperwork and how you're turning things into your office and making sure that you've got the right contract, the right addendum, the right counteroffer is going to be tested. Your marketing and how you grow your business, your prospecting, all of those things, guys, those systems are going to be put to the test in this market shift. And if you don't have them dialed in, the results could be devastating. Even if you're saying, but Dan, I'm getting multiple transactions finally for the first time. I've got 3 things in escrow in 1 month. I saw somebody on Facebook the other day that told me they had 15 things closing in the next 60 days. Okay, you're going to be tested. Your finances are going to be tested. And let's be honest, your finances may actually shock you. You might see, paychecks more frequently. Well, will you learn from the market we just came out of, where financial planning and stewardship were what saved you and brought you to the point where you are today, where you worked from a budget, where you cut costs, you did things more efficiently? Are you going to keep those systems in place, or because you're flush with cash, are you going to do things that aren't smart? See, guys, the question is not, will these areas be impacted? No. The question you face today is, what will you do right now to ensure a positive impact on your life and on your business? And that's what I want to help you with today. My experience has taught me, and really it still is teaching me from the coach's chair, that there's 4 steps that you can take to help position yourself for success in this current market shift. So let's look here now at step 1. Now, for those of you that know us at Building Champions, or for those of you that have experienced coaching with me, then you're going to know that I believe and that we believe the best way for you to set your course and the best way for you to position yourself is to set your course. And we do that through what we call our core 4. So step 1 is for you to set your course, to know where you are going. And you have to do it both personally as well as professionally. And so the first thing that I recommend that you do is really review your life plan. You see, in your life plan, you've identified key relationships in specific areas of your life that you want to make a priority. And what I want you to think about is each of these as an account that you want to make a significant and consistent deposit into so that you're building net worth in those accounts. Your life plan is your guide for personal effectiveness. I see so many individuals that desire to have it all in the business world, the money, the recognition, just everything that comes from success. But what they don't realize is that in order to have the greatest impact on those you love and those that you serve, I want you to listen to this, guys. In order to have the greatest impact, the greatest level of success with those that you love and serve, your professional effectiveness must always be preceded by personal excellence. Do you understand that? Your professional effectiveness always must be preceded by personal excellence. When it is, your idea of how much impact you can have, the success you can have, the goals that you can reach, man, the lid will be blown off what you think is possible when you get your house in order and your personal life in order. You will become more effective professionally when you make sure that you're healthy personally. If you don't, you will always be limited. The lid will always be on what you can achieve. The next part of our core 4 is what we call our business vision. And your vision answers 3 really important questions for helping you set your course. It asks you to define your purpose, or what we call your big why. Why are you in the real estate business? It asks you, where do you want to be in the next 3, 5, 10, maybe 15, 20 years out in your business? And finally, it asks you, what do you want to become? What do you want to achieve along the way? What are the major business milestones that you want to reach as you lead yourself, and perhaps you're leading a team if you're a manager or if you've got other agents that you work with? What is it you want to achieve as a team in this world of real estate? Set your course personally with your life plan. Set your course for your business with your vision. The third element is the business plan. And guys, we've talked a lot about this so far this year, the last 10 months. We've talked about business planning. And the business plan is your tactical roadmap for implementing all the strategies that you have in your business vision. Everything you want to achieve long term, your business plan is your tactical guide for the course that you've set. Your business plan also asks you just some very simple questions. Questions like, what is it that you want to achieve this year? Okay, what are your goals? How do you need to behave in order to achieve those goals? What are the disciplines that you need to engage in? It asks you, what are the improvements that you need to make along the way in those key areas of your business? And finally, when will certain aspects of that plan need to be done? Okay, just some very simple questions. What do you want to achieve? How do you want to behave? What improvements need to happen? And when are certain aspects of that plan going to be done throughout the course of the year? The business plan that hopefully some of you have in front of you on today's call, hopefully the business plan that you've worked with your manager or team leader on, You've got that. It'll answer those questions for you. That is your tactical guide. If you don't have it, we're going to make it available through your manager or through your team leader. Ask them about it. Drop them an email. Get started on it. Finally, the fourth element of the core four and that we use to help you set your course is your priority management plan. Guys, this is your schedule. This is your time block. This is your plan to manage your priorities. Your calendar that has all the disciplines from your life plan and your business plan in it so that you're focusing your time on high payoff activities. Okay? This is the first step. Setting your course, knowing your priorities personally and professionally, getting your house in order with your life plan, getting your business in order with your business vision and your business plan, and bringing all of those together under a time block and a schedule. All right, step 2 is that you need to strengthen your foundation. Guys, there are certain fundamental pillars of your business that are the foundation for everything that you build on. If you don't have these strengthened during this time of market shift, then you run the risk of having something crumble in your life. I mentioned this already, but the first pillar of your foundation is your attitude. You see, you're going to feel pulled in a lot of different directions in a market shift. You'll be tired from working long hours. You're going to need a positive, hope-filled attitude. So what are you doing today to ensure that your attitude is positive? What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are they positive people? You know, if you want a positive attitude, I'm convinced that you need to have 4 things in your life right now. The number 1 is that you need to have focused time in either prayer or meditation every single day. Number 2, you've got to eat and drink right every day, okay? Starting off the day with a Coke and a Big Mac, having a churro for lunch, and then swinging through Taco Bell for a burrito supreme with extra onions, not a good way to go, guys, if you're going to keep that attitude up and have the right mindset moving forward in this market shift. You got to eat and drink right, lots of water, at least. Number 3, 7 hours of sleep, guys. The third thing is that you got to get enough sleep, minimum of 7 hours of sleep a night. Number 4, you got to exercise. Okay, I'm not saying you've got to go do this PX90 or CrossFit or go run a marathon tomorrow. I'm saying get your heart rate up. You know, and a lot of you are like, the heart rate's already up, Dan. I've got multiple offers on my listing and I don't know what to do. No, I'm talking about getting some physical exercise. Get out to walk around. You know, go with your spouse, your significant other. Go for a walk together. Play. Get some exercise. Get that heart rate up. These are the things that you can control, guys. With your attitude, there's a lot you can't control. There's a lot of things in this world that you can't control that, yes, they do impact your attitude, but there are things that you can control. And those things I want you to focus on to help keep your attitude in check. The second pillar that you need to focus on in your foundation is your disciplines. You know, the wisest man in the world, King Solomon, said, there is nothing new under the sun. A lot of people, I think John Lennon said that, but it actually was King Solomon. And the disciplines that you need to focus on are timeless disciplines that will survive in any market, regardless of which way it's shifting. And those disciplines include spending time growing your business, time for working in your business, doing the things that only you can do, time for working on your business and yourself, improving in areas that need improvement. And you have to have disciplines for shutting business down and focusing on those disciplines and priorities that you outline in your life plan, the things that are most important to you. The business plan that you developed and the business review tool that we created, that we went through in October and in April, they can help you dig deeper into those specific disciplines and identify specific disciplines that are going to match your behavioral and communication style. I'm not going to stand up here or speak to you and say you've got to make 50 calls and that's the only way to do it. No, find disciplines. Work with your manager. Work with your team leader. Get a DISC report. Get a Myers-Briggs report. Find out what matches your style. The third foundation is the foundation of your skills. And this foundational area is one of the most important because there's so many skills that you could spend your time improving and working on. But I want to encourage you to look at least 4 skills that I think are most important. I had to think in my head for a second. Sorry for that pause. The first one is communicating and presenting information. Okay? This skill is so important in a market shift because you have buyers and you have sellers that they're not sure what's going on. This is totally different than what it's been like in the last couple of years, and you need to be able to sound like a professional, present those market stats, communicate calmly in stressful situations. That needs to be a skill that you are gifted at and that you are focusing on regularly. Second, your negotiation skills need to be honed, improved, worked on right now, guys. If you're in multiple offer situations, if you're in multiple transaction situations, if you're dealing with sellers that are having 5, 10 showings a day, you need to know how to negotiate, not just the contract, but for your seller's time. You need to be able to negotiate your commission. You need to be able to negotiate the services that you're providing. You need to have good negotiation skills right now. We haven't, I'm going to be honest, that was one thing that probably slipped away, not because we didn't want to focus on it, more because we didn't have the opportunity to focus on it in the last market that we were in. We just didn't have some of the negotiation opportunities that we do today. The third skill is your listening skills. You guys are practicing that great right now, but you need to do that constantly with your clients, asking good questions and not having an answer ready to where you're jumping into the conversation and telling them something, but listening to their needs, their wants. How are they feeling about this transaction? What is it that they need from you? You can't get that unless you're listening to them. And finally, you've got to work on your skills at writing airtight, bulletproof, mistake-proof transactions for your clients. This is extremely important as you face a multiple offer market. You have to differentiate your client's offers. You have to differentiate how your seller is responding to offers that they're getting. You have to do that if you're going to be a professional that people want to work with. It's knowing how to communicate. It's your negotiation skills. It's your listening skills. And it's writing airtight contracts, guys. Now, like I said, there might be other areas that you need to focus on and that you think, no, it's really this for me. That's great. But these are the 4 that I see right now most sales professionals needing to spend time on. Strengthening those 4 skills is going to help position you as one of the top brokers in your community to work with. Finally, there's the knowledge. Your knowledge, and what I mean by this is your knowledge of a couple of different areas. Market trends. What's going on with pricing, what's going on with days on the market, what's going on with inventory, average sales prices in different communities. How well is your knowledge? How good is your knowledge when it comes to those sort of things? Your knowledge of the consumer needs and the wants. What are people looking for in new construction? What are people looking for in terms of lot size? What are people looking for in terms of the size of the home, the number of bedrooms? What do most people want right now? Doing your research on NAR, our website, the Realtor.com website, finding this stuff out. Do you have the knowledge of your service offerings? Do you know what Prudential can offer all of your clients right now? Do you know the extra things that they've invested in to make the client experience a great one for your clients? Do you know how to explain those service offerings? Do you know how to differentiate yourself from the broker at John L. Scott, RE/MAX, or Keller Williams? Do you know how to do that? Do you have your knowledge of yourself? Do you know how you communicate? Do you know your behavioral style? Do you know what brings you down, what brings you up? You need to know this stuff. You need to know a knowledge of the market, knowledge of consumer needs, knowledge of your company's service offerings, and knowledge of yourself. Very, very important. You know, guys, I truly believe that in the last market shift, it was knowledge of market trends and the ability to communicate that information to your clients that made the difference between success and failure. It was why I spent so much time with my team training them in this area. It was why I spent hours creating different graphs for them to explain in their listing presentations and in their buyer presentations, because I truly believed that if we could figure out how to communicate what was going on in the market, and we could do that professionally, we could answer questions, then we would differentiate ourselves. If we took time to study the market, we made it a discipline, then I knew we would be doing just fine. It's the same in this market. Your clients don't just need to know things are going good. Things are better. They need to know in what areas. They need to know the different price ranges that are still struggling. They need to know the different neighborhoods that are still struggling. You have to be a student of the market. If you've done that, great. If you haven't, this is one area that you've got to focus in on and strengthen your foundation in. Guys, these are foundational things that are going to help you through any market shift that you go through. Step 3 is for you to create your systems. Guys, every market shift requires you to look at your systems for doing business effectively. The market shift will be no different that we're going through right now. In fact, just because it's a positive market doesn't mean that you have to look internally and say, how am I going to handle this? How am I going to handle that? In fact, I'm starting to believe that just as there are timeless foundational disciplines that should be applied in any market, so also are there timeless foundational systems that you must have to succeed and position yourself for any market shift in the future. The first system I want you to think about is a system for operational excellence. And guys, I'm going to walk you through about 5 different systems here. And I'm going to go back to something I said at the very beginning of the call. You may have certain aspects of one of these systems down, great. You may be missing all 5. I want you to think of what is the area that you need to focus in and zero in on right now to help you, okay? Try to get 2 or 3 things out of this call today that are going to help you succeed. All right, the first system is operational excellence. And operational excellence is achieved when you provide your clients with a seamless transaction where they're updated regularly on the process of the transaction. They don't have to experience mistakes and problems because you don't have the right internal systems in place to handle all the business that you're doing. And I believe there can be many elements to a great operational excellence system, but some of the most popular, I might call them, some of the most effective systems that I'm seeing from the top producers that I coach are as follows, okay? Get out a pen. You might want to write this down. The first one, these are going to seem very simple, guys. They have checklists and timelines for their transactions and their listings. From the moment you go pending on a transaction until it closes, you have to have a step-by-step list of what must be done, who's going to achieve it, and when it should be accomplished. A checklist, a timeline for the transaction that everyone on your team, everyone that you're dealing with, your escrow officer, your appraiser, your inspector, your client, the other agent, they're aware of it. Number 2, they've got a system for having organized files with all the appropriate paperwork in an easily accessible location. Guys, gone are the days of where you can have multiple files piled on your desk, papers strung out everywhere, and it looks like a tornado just went through. And that's pretty much the typical real estate agent's desk, okay? You can't have that anymore, because when you're in a multiple offer market, you don't have time to go looking for the right addendum, counteroffer, the right form, trying to find your file on your desk, and it's covered in, Taco Bell wrappers and bags, and you've got files over here, paperwork over here, your kids' homework over here. You don't have time for that, guys. Keep your desk organized. Keep your files organized. Have a system for it. The third way is that you have to have clearly defined roles and expectations for performance. If you run a team or if you use a transaction coordinator, they need to know what's expected of them. They need to know what their role is. They need to know what you're requiring of them to make sure that they provide a great experience for you, a seamless transaction. Okay? Your escrow officer, your inspector, your appraiser, all of those people need to know their role and your expectations for their performance. You are not Joe Blow Realtor. You are someone that operates with excellence. Have you defined what excellence looks like with your strategic partners, with your team, and with your coordinators? You also need to record your conversations and instructions from your clients. This is old school stuff here. Lee Dunn loves this stuff. He's so right. I'm seeing this across the country, where this is one of the top things that brokers are doing, is that they're recording those conversations, those instructions. They're making sure they know exactly what their client's instructions are in terms of submitting that offer. Because, guys, when you get into a multiple offer situation, and if you don't have things written down and you mistakenly submit something correctly, you put the wrong price on something, the wrong term on something, guess what? That is going to get around your community quickly. You are going to have one ticked off client that doesn't mind sharing that bit of information with everybody they know on Facebook, on Twitter, in their neighborhood. Be careful here. Finally, you've got to have a system within your operational excellence that you're using for just keeping digital copies of everything. If you're not using electronic signature programs, guys, you're going to be left in the dust. I'm sorry if you're old school, you like writing things down. It's time to get into the 21st century here. It's time to start using electronic signatures. Your clients are expecting it. It's going to provide you with more time for your friends and your family, and making sure you're focusing on your off time. All right, the next system that I want you to be thinking about is your raving fans system. This is your system that you use for creating and keeping raving fans that love to do business with you and tell others all about you. It's not marketing, not just marketing, but it includes marketing. It's the unique ways that you do business. It's the wow factor that you bring to the table that everyone else can't and doesn't. It's what you send as a thank you for a referral. It's how you celebrate with a new home buyer or a seller that's just sold their home. It's your personal touch, and only you can do it, guys. What is that going to be? How will you differentiate yourself during the transaction and after, so that you have these raving fans that want to send you referrals, these raving fans that want to come back and have you help them the next time they need to go purchase or sell something? What is your system for creating raving fans? The third system, system for you to think about in your business is your financial return. This is a system for planning and tracking the finances of your business. Now, I know from experience and according to NAR that most realtors are not analytical. They're not detail-oriented, so I may have just lost most of people on the call, and there may be some of you that are rolling your eyes or saying, okay, now's a good time to go to the bathroom. Guys, listen, this is really, really important. The truth is that you have to have a system in place for running a budget each month. You need to know what your profit and loss is each month. You need to know what your cash flow is going to look like for this quarter and for the next year, so that you can do proper planning. And the great thing is that you have a company that has given you these tools. You don't have to go out and recreate the wheel, guys. Your business plan from Prudential includes these types of reports for you to start using. Make sure you've talked to your manager, your team leader, to get copies of those. The fourth system that I want you to be thinking about is sales and brand growth. Okay, this system is one that you will spend more time on than probably any other because it is the backbone of your business. This is the system that makes all the other systems run. You must have a selling plan in place, guys, that helps you create new relationships and strengthen existing ones through communication and dialogue with people. Now, again, I'm not going to go out and tell you to call 50 people a day, stand on the corner with a blowhorn. I'm not going to tell you those crazy things. What I am going to do is say you've got to find something that works for you. You need to focus on a sales plan that matches your behavioral and communication style. The best thing that I've seen, one of the best reports to help you with this, guys, there's two, okay? I want you to write these down. One is DISC, D-I-S-C, the DISC behavioral style. The other one is called SPQ, Sales Call Reluctance Test. SPQ, Sales Call Reluctance Test. Both of these behavioral assessments will help you to lay out a game plan for how you can communicate with people, how you can focus on your gifts and your talents and not feel pressured to do like some of those other national speakers talk about, calling 100 people a day, calling 500 expireds a day until you pass out. You don't have to do that. You just need to find something that will work and that will yield the results because it ties in with who you are. If you want help with any of those assessments, drop me an email. I'll be happy to help you connect with those. If you don't want to do sales and prospecting, guys, then it's going to be tough. You may not last very long, even in a positive upswing market. If you can find to do it in a way that you love and that fits your personality, then the sky's the limit. Your brand is all about you growing and thinking about your marketing and your identity that you're putting out there to the public. So you have to ask yourself, how am I staying in touch with my existing clients, my past clients in my community? Do people know me as a realtor, or do they know me as a mom with 2 kids in the local school? Do they know me as a realtor or that guy that serves on the church board and at Rotary? Do they know how you can help them? Do they know the difference between you and every other broker in town? How are you building your brand? Is it consistent in your messaging? Does it look the same every time you take a listing? Does it look the same when you communicate in your email, in your voicemail, on your flyers? You have to have a system in place to differentiate yourself. Having a system for sales and brand growth is essential. The final system for you to be thinking about is the professional growth system. You have to have a system for professional growth, guys. Just because you're busy, just because the market's going nuts and you've got multiple offers and lots of transactions, it doesn't mean you can set aside the need, the expectation for you to be continually growing as a professional. But where you have to start in this, step one, is you have to know your own learning style. How best do you learn? Is it through reading? Is it through listening? Is it through experiencing things with your hands? Whatever it is, start there. Figure out your learning style. Don't go and sit in front of some speaker in some seminar if you don't learn that well. If you learn better on an online program, online education, do that. If you learn better watching someone give a listing presentation, show property, handle a multiple offer situation, negotiate a really tough deal, find that person, observe them, watch them, figure out your learning style. This is really important, guys. You have to figure this out, and there's 3 specific things that I'm seeing most professionals do right now when it comes to professional growth. I wanted to give you some examples. I didn't want to just say go out there and figure out your learning style. I wanted to give you some specific things that I see top people doing. The first one is that I see people having weekly and monthly roundtable discussions with their peers. I see them meeting with top producers in their area, top producers in their company, getting together after hours for a drink and discussing the market, discussing what's working, what's not working, what do they need to keep doing, what should they stop doing, what should they be starting to do in their business. They're having those roundtable discussions. The second thing they're doing is they're involved in one-on-one coaching, obviously, because this is where I'm getting it. But some of you, if the money might not be there yet for you to do that, it might not be the right time for you to do that. You may have other obligations, but you can be in coaching with a peer, with your manager, or maybe you do want to look at hiring a coach. The third thing that they're doing is they're reading blogs or they're listening to podcasts on professional growth. Man, there are so many resources out there right now, guys, for professional growth, for hearing things from the top agents, reading their blogs, seeing what people are doing in New York and Miami, in Arkansas, believe it or not, in Texas. Shouldn't say that. There's probably some people in Arkansas that would really be offended by that comment. But everywhere, there are great professionals doing amazing things. You can learn from them. Go find them. You have to have a system for operational excellence. You've got to have a system for raving fans and financial return, for sales and brand growth and professional growth for yourself. Those are your systems that you need to create if you're going to be positioned in today's market. Step 4, this is the final step, is to embrace accountability. And you're like, okay, end of the call, he's probably going to start talking about accountability. You're absolutely right. It is what separates the good from the great. It is the friend of top producers. And how you do accountability is up to you, peer-to-peer, maybe with your manager, maybe with a team setting, maybe it's a professional coach. But I got to tell you, right now, if you are not working with a team that has a culture of accountability, you need to go find one. As a sales manager, I'm going to challenge you that if you are not creating a culture of accountability in your office, then you're not doing something that's going to be a detriment to your team and to the people in your office. How do you embrace accountability? How do you create a culture of accountability? It starts with 3 things. You have to know what your purpose is. Why have you chosen the goals that you've chosen? Why have you chosen to go after more units, more income? What is your motivation? What's your big why? Why did you choose those goals? Secondly, have you defined failure? What happens if you don't achieve those goals? What happens if you don't show up every day with a good attitude to work your disciplines? Have you defined what failure looks like? That's one thing that a lot of people don't do, guys. It's easy to write goals. It's easy to even come up with disciplines and improvement projects. But we never say, well, what happens if I don't do this? What does failure look like? That's a big motivator. When you define what failure looks like, it's easy to define what success looks like. It's rolling in the money. It's getting kudos from your manager. It's your wife giving you a high five when you come home. It's buying some new bling. That's easy, but what does failure look like? Have you thought about that? The third thing is, how does it impact the people around you? Success or failure. If you want to embrace accountability, you've got to have meaning behind your goals, your plans, your systems, your strategy. If you fail, how does that impact your spouse, your kids, your savings, your retirement, your goals? If you are successful, how does it impact them in a great way? Define that. Define your purpose. Define what failure looks like. Know how your actions and your goals are going to impact the people around you. When you do that, you will have an amazing level of internal motivation to get out there and get the job done, to position yourself properly in this market. Let's review these steps, guys. The first thing you've got to do is you've got to set your course. You have to have the core 4 in place. Know what is your personal priorities. Know where your business vision is, where you're going, what you want to achieve long term. You've got to have your business plan in place for that tactical approach day to day, and you've got to be working from a schedule. You've got to strengthen your foundation, those things that are most important in any market, your attitude, your disciplines, your skills, your knowledge of the market. You've got to create your systems, guys. Operational excellence, raving fans, financial returns, sales and brand growth, and professional growth, and then you have to embrace the accountability like we just talked about. If you do these things, you will be positioned not only for this market shift, but for market shifts in the future. You will set yourself apart as a great agent, as a great leader in your community, as someone that embraces accountability, that does what they say they're going to do, that can handle the ups and downs, that can avoid the nauseating roller coaster. If you need any help with this, guys, we've got a couple of different places for us to be able to connect. You've got my website, CoachDanFoster.com. You've also got that website that I told you where you will find the different tools. You're going to find today's presentation there. It's going to be at buildingchampions.com/PRUNW.com. Guys, I want to thank you for being on today's call. Thank you, Jason, for asking me to do this and for investing in your folks. If I can be of help in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thanks, guys. I just wish you the best. Review your plans. You're going to be positioned perfectly for this market shift. God bless. Bye-bye.